Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Chicopee, Massachusetts. I'm your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Rob. And he offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Massachusetts. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
Yes, in this one, year 2023, we're going to have a double tour of the train depot, inside and outside together.
Okay, so today he'll be educating us on the Holyoke train depot. So tell us the general history of the train depots in Holyoke.
All right, now there's lots of train depots. People think that there's only one or two or so. No, not correct. There used to be one in Holyoke Heritage Park that was city-owned. There used to be one down in the flats. In fact, there was three there, but only one at a time. And then there's one at Smith's Ferry, the northern part of Holyoke. And then there's one at Riverside Station, which is next to the Riverside Mill, which is next to the Willamette Bridge. So you had, at any given time, 4 train stations around Holyoke. And so the one we really want to talk about a lot, though, is the one that's still there but not going to be used anymore. It's being rehabbed. It's on Bauer Street. And it was made by a famous architect, and they've been changing it around lately, trying to get it renovated. And that one's called it's on the Connecticut River line. That one's called, usually by most people, the Richardsonian train station. So we have a tour this year, 2023, that goes inside it, and then right after that, we go outside it, and we try to describe the neighborhood around it.
No, so specifically tell us about that train station in Bauer Street.
Okay, so the person that made it was Henry Hobson Richardson, and he made it later in his career. He's probably the most famous architect in American history. And he made things like the Trinity Church. And so, the train station itself, if you go inside onto what's called the second floor now, you have beautiful rafters coming through, holding up in a very unique pattern. So if you look at it, you say, oh my goodness, can that hold up the whole roof? Yes, he was great at making lightness inside, but heaviness outside. Now outside you have very deep windows in a Romanesque kind of look, and everything looks heavy looking, and that's by purpose too, because he wanted to have a very heavy, deep look inside and an uplifted look inside and outside, and then inside a very up-looking lift. Now he very much did that. Now one thing that changed along the way is they made the second floor expanded over what was an ocular or an oval. They filled that in, and you used to be able to look from the first floor up to the second floor into a skylight, but you can't do that anymore.
So, quickly before we continue with the rest of our interview, just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more or sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org, and there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour, and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you're interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214B@yahoo.com. They are perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family or for your group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. And they're also good just for getting outdoors for the day. Getting back to our interview, tell us about the life of Henry Hobson Richardson.
All right. Well, he was an incredible architect. He was based in Massachusetts, but his work is in many places around the United States. Probably the best of my mind is Trinity Church in Boston. It's absolutely gorgeous on the outside. But he did work in northeastern Massachusetts, which is a town that he did a lot of buildings there, and then his buddy Frederick Law Olmsted did all the landscape around them. So you have two of the greatest artists in the whole world doing a joint project right in Massachusetts. And not many people realize what they're looking at there. Now, other things that he did, he did gorgeous churches. He did schools. He did a few homes. In Springfield, he did a church that's now gone now, so that's not necessary. Now, there were some train depots. Of course, Holyoke was one of them. There was a few scattered around New England that he did. A lot of them towards the end of his life. He had a lot of associates, and after he died, they continued his work, and they made things that looked just like his work. And so in Holyoke, for instance, the Presbyterian Church on Chestnut Street, it fools everyone because it looks just like one of his works, but it's really not. Also on High Street, the Guyot Hotel, it's close to his work, and yet it's not. And the Forbes Library is by one of his associates. So there's a lot of works around that are truly his, but many that look close are of his, of helpers that have taken over after his life. Now, the best thing I feel about this man is his uniqueness, and that's why they say he's the best architect, because everything was drawn from scratch to make it look different. And if you look at the train station, the change of colors and heaviness and the beautiful windows. But sadly, some has changed, so we're going to go to that next.
So how has the depot been physically changed?
All right, there's one added outside building that was called a freight station. That's to the side. That's not the original. The two big steps on both the north and south have been basically removed because they were out of the way. There was an added piece to the south that's hooked onto the building that's not original. And inside the building, the oval that he made so you could look up from the first floor to the ceiling has been filled in. And sadly, the new owner, even though he's renovating the place, is not going to cut out that second floor and rehab it back to what it looked like. Maybe in the future they'll get enough money to do something like that. So, sure, what changes? You've really changed what you have in front of you, but it's still basically what he created, and that's why so many people around Holyoke want to save it. Now, one thing I actually agree with is last year the new owner took off the slate roof and put on a asphalt shingle roof, and the reason why I agree with that is because it was very expensive to replace the whole thing as a new slate, but it cost $1 million. And so, as a temporary measure, he put shingles, and maybe 10 years down, he could put the slate back on when he gets some money. So there's things like that could have been changed for positive, but I think it's still positive doing the way he did.
Well, thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours, and we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. You can also tune into a large selection of our other podcasts and much more at his website. That, again, is holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And be sure to keep an eye out for his upcoming 2024 season tours and more as they become available.